Okay, thank you for tuning in. This is Sharonda. And again, this is my podcast on Spiritual Sense. Today is Friday, which is Christmas Eve, December the 24th. And I am going to do a tarot card reading in regards to, I think I'm going to do this tarot card reading for the 2022 up and coming year and what the message that is to be conveyed in regards to love and relationships. Okay, because I don't want to be a sourpuss or someone that spoils the party, a party pooper, so to speak. So when I give my tarot card reading, I don't want it to be fake, but I do want it to be realistic, okay? So right now I'm going to focus on positive energy and positive flow in regards to relationships, okay? I did do tarot card reading where I felt like that the message to be conveyed was that there was an attack on relationships, okay? But I'm not going to focus on that right now. I am going to focus on positivity in terms of bringing into that good energy, that good flow of harmonious energy for the 2022 year. And I'm going to do that now. Okay. So I am in turn, I'm going to focus on the positivity part of this reading for today. So I say, Father Supreme Being of all being. I do know what this reading is on relationships. I want to get some type of clarity in terms of relationships, how to provide information to those out there who may need somebody to give them some tips on how you can improve your relationship, the communication in your relationship, and the things that you may need to do to give your relationship some renewing, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm just going to take half of my cards and I'm going to take and cut the cards. And then I'm going to proceed to spread them out. And I'm going to do my 10 card spread. Now, I will begin to do a little bit more topics such as numerology and astrology, because I do feel like the zodiac, the cosmos, the astronomy has a lot to do with the cycles of life and the energy force within our realm. Whether you give power to it or not, I understand and I know that indeed astrology and astronomy works. Energy, all of that, the universe, energy cycles and stuff, that stuff works. I'm not heavily into astrology, but I do know astrology works. And when I say I'm not heavy into astrology, that means that like I don't know all of the zodiac signs. I know my zodiac sign and I know maybe one or two others. So that is something I'm looking to get a little bit more into, but I do know that the zodiac does work. Numerology works. I will be honest to tell you about it. If you begin to pay attention to the cycles of life and how it correlates to your thoughts and your mindset, numerology does work. So I'm going to begin to incorporate more astrology and numerology into my Spiritual Sense podcast as well as webinar presentation. Okay, so Father Supreme Being of all being, I'm going to do this reading. It's going to be in relation to relationships, whether that being partnerships in terms of business, platonic relationships, friendships, or even marriages and as such, okay? So we want to bring in some positivity and positive flow on things to do to vamp or revamp your relationships for the 2022 playing year. So we want to focus on that now, okay? So please give me infinite wisdom, knowledge, capability, and understanding as to providing the tools that those persons who will be listening in or maybe listening in would need to help with rekindle that romance and romantic relationship, as well as trust in those friendships as well as partnerships. Okay. So I will proceed. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so I'm going to proceed to lay my cards down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. So right now I have this card here, the Fool card. It says, good friends, happiness needed to take a giant leap forward. So right now, because I am doing this reading in regards to relationships right now, and what can be done to rekindle and restore relationships right now, because as I mentioned in a couple of my tarot card readings, that there was an attack on relationships right now. Well, number one, to help build trust, it looks like what it's letting me know is that there needs to be a leap forward, meaning I'm not saying to go and be on a witch hunt or try to provoke suspicion or even direct you towards negativity. What I will do is have you to focus on what is at hand. Number one, what brought the relationship together in the first place? What was the objective in the start of the relationship? And what was the goal? Okay. Now, in terms of meeting that goal, oftentimes in partnerships, relationships, we don't always get our way, so to speak. When you are in partnerships or relationships with, particularly on a business aspect of it, as well as if it's, pleasure, or romantic. Okay, so we need to focus on, okay, what are the goals within this relationship? Okay, try to work towards those goals. Try to find things in the relationship that can help alleviate any interference towards meeting those goals. Sometimes it may take taking a vacation or taking a day trip, or taking more lunch dates, or perhaps dinner dates, something to keep the mind off of work or off of the logistics of the relationship. Okay. Card 2, the barrier. What is preventing it? What is the hindrance? So I show here work, paid work, 8 of Pentacles. So oftentimes, when we are in relationships, as I mentioned, we could be bottled or plagued with work. The need to do work, the need to have work being done. So many of times you may have situations where people feel like, okay, it looks like I'm the one who's, pulling out the weight. There's no, inequality or any balance in the workload being done. And, I am being made to look as though the fool. So we're going to sit back and evaluate the relationship and say, okay, well, let's try to be reasonable within reasonable means as to what can be done to keep the relationship afloat, because it is two-way. It can't just always be your way all the time. Be flexible, allow some flexibility in terms of obtaining those goals. Okay. Card 3, we have the Hierophant card. Okay. So it says marriage, government, or public company, body, corporate, critical or official building, or official situation. So I honestly feel as though this is across the board. This is across the board in terms of your relationship. You have to look at it. I understand it. Understand looking at it in a business aspect of it, even if it's in a romantic type of situation as well. Or if it's a business related relationship, you want to look at it in more of a spiritual sense of the matter, meaning morality, morals, and ethics as well. So even though you're in a marriage, you still want to look at it objectively. You still want to bring some sense of governance into it, as well as if you are in a government, position of authority, you still want to have some type of morale in the relationship. Okay, everything can't be, horrible. There has to be some sense of balance. Your feminine as well as your masculine equality. So we got to come meet at one, homeostasis. It has to be that yin and yang, so to speak. And this is what the cosmos is letting me know in regards to relationships right now. Now I know you might be saying, okay, well, if we have a gray area, then people can overstep those boundaries, and then it leads to other things. And that is true. You do want to have a definitive point, meaning a boundary, as to that, because people will lose sight and they will begin to do things to the contrary as to what the original purpose of the relationship from the get-go. So you don't want to overstep your boundaries. You want to have rules in place, but you don't want to have it to where a person feels worthless. When it gets to the point when the person feels inhumane or as if they are an animal and they are less than, the dogs that walk, stray dogs that, wandering through the street, that's not right. So I understand, there's times where certain things are warranted, but that may not be the case all the time. Okay. And so, of course, you don't want to bring pleasure into a business situation, because you're going to have a what? You're going to have a recipe for catastrophe and chaos. But of course, you do want to bring some sense of spirituality and morals and morality into those instances as well. Okay. The root of the issue. This is what I have as the root of the issue. So, sickness, bad illness, needed to take out rest and relaxation is needed here. So, number one, in order to build on your relationships, we're wanting to what? We need to rest. We need to take out some time. As I mentioned earlier, we need to take out some time. We need to, take a break. Whether it be, go visit a museum or, go out to dinner, a lunch date, or take a day trip or a road trip or whatever it is to rekindle that relationship. And it may not necessarily be on a romantic sensibility, but in the manner of, getting people more, building a rapport is what I'm getting at with the person. Okay, so we have this here, the justice card. Legal situations or document, police finding out the truth in the matter affecting the balance. So when I get the justice card, a lot of times is in reference to either something in terms of judgment, or it could very well be in terms of like the actual Department of Justice, criminal. It could be in regards to that. Because we are doing this reading in regards to relationships, I'm going to say that this is in regards to judgment. Okay, I feel as though that we need to start making more better decisions in the judgment of a lot of our relationships, is what that is. Now, like I said, I wanted to focus on the positivity, but also we want to be realistic about our tarot card reading as well. We need to be more focused on our judgment when in terms of relationships. And that could be very well on a business aspect of it, as well as on a more or less romantic and friendships as well. Okay. Does everybody have to be lean, mean, Miss Clean? No, that's not possible. We are all human. We are what? Bound by flesh. We all have flaws. We all do things we shouldn't do. Some people do things more worse off than others. Okay. All right. So we have this card here. This is card 6. 9 of Pentacles. Peace of mind, contentment. So in terms of your relationships and working towards your relationships, you don't want to be in a situation or in a relationship with somebody that you do not like. That's just plain and simple. You don't want to be in a partnership or some type of business relationship with somebody that you can't stand. That's just not going to work. Plain and simple. And I know you might hear the term all the time where people may say, oh my gosh, well, it's just business. I'm just here to do what I need to do. And that may be the case, in a lot of instances where you feel as though, okay, long as we have that boundary or that defining point, it works for you. But I'm going to tell you something. When you are in certain situations, oftentimes people are not concerned about that, and they will cause, they're not concerned about your trying to stay within character in terms of when you're in a situation that is business related, is what I'm getting at. Many times people feel as though, okay, because you are here, you're going to be made to deal with these situations. The best way to handle those type of settings is you don't want to be in those settings not on a consistent basis. So it may be, I have to be real about relationships, okay? If it's a situation where, there's no peace, and you just don't like the person you're around, well, then you could try to make some adjustments. Try to make some adjustments to whatever the case may be, because it's going to always be something that you don't like. But if it's something that you just can't deal with, I can understand that. And sometimes it may take, taking some time back from whatever the case may be. You may have to step back out of that relationship. I'm not telling you you should go and venture off and cheat on your husband or cheat on your wife or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or whomever. I'm not saying that. Sometimes it takes taking a step back and recouping and finding out your identity, finding out who you are. And that could be in the aspects in terms of a partnership or a business situation as well. However, in terms of business relationships and partnerships, I know that may not be plausible in that given situation, because the business still have to go on. But even still, there's such things as the business relationship can end, and you can bring in someone else in the place of another of this person. So nothing is definite, set in stone. There can be some revisions, even in business situations or relationships as well. So I want you to feel as though, me giving you this tarot card reading in regards to relationship advice, that everything, if, that you have to stay in a situation that you're in. No. And that's good for the goose as well as the gander. I'm the neutral person in the sense of it all. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you to leave your husband. I'm not going to sit here and tell you to leave your wife and all of this other stuff. Okay. Plain and simple. Okay. Now, so we have card 7. This is the attitude. Speedy situations are finished. So I honestly feel as though it takes time. Relationships takes time. And if you're not someone who's willing to put in the time in regards to relationships, well, it's up to you if you want to continue on in that situation. But it does take time. And many of the times, we don't want to go through the test of time. And I can understand that. I can honestly understand that. And that's where you have to sit down and come to some type of agreement as to, okay, kind of like a bargaining type of deal. If you can't come together and come to some type of amends, then there's where separation may need to transpire, okay? So we have card 9. Card 9 is this here. 6 of Wands, letter or news coming, victory news. So I do feel as though if you are willing to take the chance and do the work and put in the work, things can work out favorably for you for this 2022 playing year in regards to your relationships, partnerships, business situations, as well as friendships. Things can work out in your favor if you are willing to put in the time, effort, and work, okay? Now, so card 9, I have card 9 here, hopes, fears, and dreams. Elevation of money, overseas trips, completion phases. So there will be some transitions, meaning there will be some phases that you may have to go through, some test of times in regards to the relationship, particularly financial. We all know finances is going to be one of the hurting points in any given relationship, whether it be business related or romantic related. Financial is going to always be the one that gets you to the core. So even if you are someone who out there who may be looking to get in some type of partnership with somebody, business wise, or even in a relationship or friendship. You want to be mindful in terms of the good side as well as the bad side. So you can't always have the good without being accepting of the bad. It's just something that comes with, relationships. They're not going to always be easy. I'm not going to see and tell you no lie. It's all based on what you are willing to deal with and to reason with for the 2022 playing year. So you want to hope for the best. Try to sit back and get some good communication going. Perhaps when you take that road trip, take a long talk. Turn the radio off. Turn off the phone and just take a long conversation. Whether this be with your counterpart, your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, or whomever, and just sit back and have a long talk, and put some things out on the table in regards to relationships. But I do show that like any relationships, is going to come with some ups and downs. That's life. But if you can come back to the drawing board to where, okay, what brought us together in the first place? Was it something of a favorable means or unfavorable means? If it was not of a favorable means, then we can work towards that. We can work towards moving from that. If it was for favorable means, then we can try to rekindle that and keep that going, keep the positivity in that relationship. Okay. So then we're going to proceed to the outcome. The outcome I have here, it says the Hangman card as the outcome. Getting stronger in oneself after a lot of deliberating and delaying in your life. So over time, things will change. It takes some time for relationships to change and to build. So in order to build that trust, it's going to take longevity. It's going to take the test of time. It's going to take, sticking with it and keeping with it in order for it to be second nature, in order for it to just mesh and flow. Okay. Trust and believe. I know. And oftentimes it takes the little things along the way of the relationship for people to not focus on, minor things or even the major things. It takes the little things, little subtle things like a little dinner date or a little lunch break or, a little sigh of appreciation or a little inspirational quote or a good thought or moment of gratitude or what have you. It's going to take those things in order to get the persons to continue on with the situation in regards to relationships. Okay. So I hope that was some good advice to give to those. And I don't like giving out advice because I'm not, trained to do so. Okay. So this, as I mentioned, it is optional. But I just wanted to let you know that what I see in the cards for the 2022 playing year, it's going to be some ups and downs in regards to relationships. But if you stay focused and are able to stay on your mission, if you have a vision and you can work towards that vision, and if you can understand that there's light at the end of the tunnel when you follow the yellow brick road. You're going to have the strayers. You're going to have the distractions on the side of the way. Trust and believe it. I know. They're going to use whatever tactic they can to distract you and keep you from paying attention and keeping your eyes on the prize. As I mentioned before, those are spirits. And so once you get forward and move towards your journey, things will get better. Oh, now the eyes will begin to see. more or less like a kaleidoscope. Your eyes will have been open and you will begin to see, okay, now I get why it was put together in the first place. Okay, so I do thank you for tuning in to this episode of Spiritual Sense, as well as this podcast of Spiritual Sense. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you're more than welcome to comment below. Until then, you have a safe and wonderful day. Good day.